Same name, different beast. A legacy tested by time and challenged by the future. The Mustang is a 60-year-long argument about what an American muscle car should be. Two generations, two completely different worlds, same galloping horse on the hood. Which Mustang truly deserves the crown? Let's settle this properly. If you've ever had a thing for Mustangs, smash that like button right now. This one's for you. Designed the 1964.5 Mustang, yes. Ford was so eager, they launched it mid-year, rolled out with a body that nobody had seen before. Long hood, short rear deck, clean fastback lines. It looked aggressive without trying too hard. At under 2,500 pounds, it was lean, almost delicate. You could see the whole car at a glance and immediately understand it. Simple, confident, stunning. It didn't need to shout, it just stood there and made people stop walking. Walk up to a 2024 Mustang and the experience is completely different. It's wider, heavier, and deliberately intimidating. The hood is sculpted with sharp creases. The headlights are angular and mean-looking. The whole car sits lower and wider, like it's planted to the road on purpose. It's a design that says it means business before you even open the door. Where 1964 was a brushstroke, 2024 is a punch. Here's the honest take. The 1964s has a timeless elegance the new one can't fully replicate, but the 2024s looks like it could eat the 1964s for breakfast and not even check the mirror afterward. Right, now let's talk about what's under that hood, engine and performance. The base 1964 Mustang came with a 170 cubic inch inline six, pushing just 101 horsepower. That's it. You could option up to the famous 289 V8, which got you around 271 horsepower if you were lucky. It ran the quarter mile in roughly 16 seconds. For 1964, that felt genuinely fast. In 2024, your Honda Civic would keep up. And that's not even an exaggeration. Now flip to the 2024 Mustang GT, a 5-liter Coyote V8 producing 486 horsepower straight from the factory floor. Quarter mile in the low 12-second range, 0 to 60 in around 4 seconds flat. And if you step up to the Dark Horse Edition, 500 horsepower, track-tuned suspension, and Brembo brakes that'll make your eyes water on the first corner. The exhaust note alone sounds like something that should be illegal on a public road. The performance gap is almost embarrassing to bring up. But here's the thing, the 1964s wasn't slow for its time, it was electric. And that electric feeling, that buzz of pushing a car to its limit, was exactly what mattered. Numbers on paper don't tell the whole story. The grin on your face does. Performance is one thing, but where you sit matters just as much. Let's step inside. Interior and technology. Climb inside the 1964 Mustang and you get the basics done well. A simple dashboard, a big round steering wheel, and analog gauges that glow amber at night. No power steering on most trims, no air conditioning unless you paid extra. Everything is manual. The connection between driver and car was raw and completely unfiltered. There was nothing sitting between you and the road. Your hands felt every bump. Your ears heard every gear change. It was basic, but in that simplicity, there was something deeply satisfying that modern cars chase and rarely catch. The 2024 interior is a completely different planet. A 13.2-inch touchscreen dominates the center console. A 12.3-inch digital driver display sits right in your eyeline. Wireless CarPlay, heated and ventilated seats, a Bang & Olufsen sound system, drive mode selectors, launch control, and active rev matching on the manual gearbox. The steering wheel alone has more buttons than the entire dashboard of the 1964s. Ford even added a dedicated drag strip mode, a feature that tells you everything about how seriously they're taking performance in 2024. It's genuinely impressive, but some Mustang purists will quietly tell you it lost something in the process, and honestly, they're not entirely wrong. Sometimes more features mean less feeling. The cockpit is sorted, but a car's real worth is measured far beyond the spec sheet. Cultural impact. Here's something most people overlook when they compare these two cars. The The 1964 Mustang didn't just sell well, it literally invented a whole new segment of cars. Before it, there was nothing quite like it on the American market. Ford sold over 400,000 units in the very first year. It appeared in magazines, television shows, and on bedroom walls across the country. Steve McQueen made it immortal in Bullitt, those San Francisco streets, that chase scene, that sound. It became a symbol of freedom for an entire generation of Americans who were young, hopeful, and ready to drive somewhere new. That kind of cultural weight is almost impossible to recreate from scratch. You can't manufacture it. It either happens or it doesn't. The 2024 Mustang carries that legacy with remarkable care. Ford knows exactly what it's dealing with. They've kept the name, kept the V8 option when every other automaker is rushing toward electric, and kept the manual transmission almost as a deliberate statement to the industry. In a world drowning in SUVs and crossovers, the Mustang still refuses to apologize for being a proper, old-fashioned sports car with a roaring engine. That stubbornness, honestly, is kind of admirable. It takes confidence to hold the line when everyone else is moving on. Culture is priceless, but your wallet still has feelings. Let's talk money. Price and value. A brand new 1964 Mustang cost $2,368. Adjusted for today's inflation, that's roughly $23,000, genuinely, almost shockingly affordable. It was built with a very specific mission, so that a young person with an average job could walk into a dealership on a Friday afternoon and drive one home before the weekend. That accessibility wasn't an accident, it was the entire philosophy. Lee Iacocca wanted the Mustang in every driveway in America, and for a while it very nearly was. The 2024 Mustang GT starts at around $32,000. Not outrageous for what you're getting, but it's no longer the everyday people's car it once was. The Dark Horse Edition climbs past $60,000. A well-optioned model with the right packages can quietly creep towards $70,000 without you even noticing until you see the final invoice. The dream is absolutely still alive. It's just wearing a more expensive price tag now. Whether that's progress or a loss depends entirely on who you ask. But forget the money for a second, because this next part is what really matters. The emotional part. There's something worth saying here that no spec sheet will ever capture. People who grew up around the original Mustang don't just love it, they feel it somewhere deep. It reminds them of something specific. A long summer road trip with the windows down. A first car that smelled like petrol and possibility. A father who used to wax his every Sunday morning in the driveway while the radio played. Cars like that don't just move you from one place to another, they carry memory with them, quietly in the bodywork and the engine sound, and the way the door closes. The 2024 Mustang will do exactly that for someone too. Right now, somewhere, there's a teenager who just saw one pull up outside and felt something shift inside them, something they can't quite explain yet. That moment is happening. The torch is being passed, even if nobody's officially announcing it. The legacy doesn't die. It just finds new people to live inside. So who actually wins? If you want raw performance, modern technology, the latest safety features, and genuine daily comfort, the 2024 Mustang wins. It's not even close. It's a dramatically better car by almost every measurable, logical standard. But if you want the car that started everything, the one that rewrote the rulebook, that gave America something completely new to believe in, the one with a heartbeat you could feel through the steering column on a quiet two-lane road, the 1964 takes it without question. Here's the truth, though they're not really competing with each other. They never were. The 1964 created the legend. The 2024 is doing everything it can to live up to it. And the fact that we're still having this conversation 60 years later says more than any horsepower figure ever could. 60 years apart, and the Mustang still makes people stop and stare. That's not an accident. That's design, culture, and pure stubbornness wrapped into one car with a horse on the hood. 1964 gave America something to believe in. The 2024 makes sure the world never forgets it. Both of them deserve their place in the conversation, and honestly, so does every generation that fell in love with one. Drop a comment 1964 or 2024, and tell me which one you'd actually want in your garage.